You think you lack discipline because you're lazy? That is a weak man's lie. The truth is, your lack of discipline is a systemic collapse of your brain's command structure. Every time you fail, hitting snooze, scrolling instead of working, it feels like a choice, but it is merely your primitive brain instantly prioritizing comfort. We reject motivation. Motivation is a flimsy fantasy for the weak. We pursue strategic self-domination. This is about permanently shutting down the weak, negotiating voice in your mind that argues for surrender. This is how you forge a will that is cold, ruthless, and absolutely reliable. Have you ever felt that absolute command after forcing yourself to complete a difficult task? You finish the report, crush the workout, or refuse the easy path, and suddenly you feel an unshakable strategic calm. This is not mere pride. It is a genuine, documented neurological phenomenon. The act of strategic self-domination profoundly affects your brain, immediately enhancing focus, emotional stability, and control over your existence. Learn the brutal science behind it to unlock the absolute power of a disciplined will. The real problem is that you are living in a state of constant internal negotiation. The lack of discipline acts as an ongoing psychological reminder of failure. Our brains demand a clear, dictated hierarchy. When your internal world is jumbled, when you constantly debate your own commands, your brain works harder to filter impulse, leading directly to mental fatigue, chronic stress, and dwindling concentration. This sensory overload of indecision fuels anxiety, making genuine relaxation in your own mind impossible. The practical impact is a less productive existence, where your own will actively works against your power. What is truly happening in your brain? Your lack of self-command overloads your prefrontal cortex, the command center. When structure is absent, every impulse fights for attention. Your brain must expend massive energy to decide what to obey and what to ignore. This constant high-level processing triggers cognitive overload, rendering focused attention on any significant goal impossible. It is a mutiny inside your barracks. Furthermore, this internal chaos signals danger, raising your cortisol levels. This constant stress response leads to a vicious cycle. Stress causes failure, and failure causes more stress. Your mind, which should be your most lethal weapon, becomes a source of chronic tension. This cycle is reinforced by willpower exhaustion. Willpower is not infinite. It is a resource that fatigues quickly. Every time you engage in an internal debate, should I check social media? Should I skip this? You deplete that reserve. By the time you need willpower for the critical high-stakes tasks of your day, it is already exhausted from fighting small, unnecessary battles. The undisciplined mind spends its entire day negotiating its surrender. The disciplined mind eliminates negotiation. Now look at the flip side. Discipline is not merely pain, it is a powerful signal. The deliberate execution of a difficult task becomes a form of strategic mindfulness. Focused action decreases activity in the default mode network, the area associated with passive, aimless thought. By locking onto a difficult task, you give your brain rest from negotiation, actively transporting yourself into the present, command-driven moment. Additionally, the completion of a mandate triggers dopamine, the reward neurotransmitter. When you set a goal and brutally achieve it, the reward system lights up. This positive feedback reinforces the behavior, driving neuroplasticity. The neural pathways associated with that act of discipline become stronger, thicker, and faster. You are literally rewiring your brain for command and rewarding yourself for choosing the high-power path. This physical rewiring is the key. Discipline shifts the cognitive load. Instead of using valuable executive function to decide to do a task, a deeply ingrained habit allows your basal ganglia, the habit center, to handle the routine. This frees the prefrontal cortex for complex strategy and critical decision-making, giving you a decisive competitive advantage in every domain of your life. This is the ultimate biological reality of true self-mastery. Here is the ruthless plan. You can reverse these effects. Start small. Total discipline is paralyzing. Instead, conquer one small, non-negotiable mandate. 5 push-ups, 1 paragraph written. This is a micro-conquest. You get a quick win and that dopamine boost, building momentum. Use habit stacking. Anchor a new discipline, such as a 10-minute deep work session, onto an existing habit, like taking your morning coffee. This makes execution automatic, not a difficult chore. Another strong solution is creating designated mandates for all important tasks. When every action has a fixed time and place, it is easier to start. This immediately reduces decision fatigue. You stop wasting energy on where to begin. You make self-command easier and the mental load smaller by creating clear, non-negotiable laws. Your discipline goes on autopilot, freeing up mental resources for strategic thinking. Consider the strategy of pre-commitment. This is Machiavelli applied directly to your weak self. Set the terms of engagement when you are strong, so your weak self has no option when the crisis arrives. If you must run at 6 a.m., lay out your gear and agree to pay a fine if you fail. Leverage social pressure or financial pain to eliminate the 6 a.m. negotiation. You cut off your own escape routes. This is not about kindness. It is about creating a system of consequences that makes compliance the only logical, self-preserving choice. The societal cost of indiscipline. Beyond personal failure, your lack of discipline makes you vulnerable to external manipulation. An indisciplined mind is a chaotic, easily distracted mind. Society, advertisers, algorithms, shallow media, prefers you weak and predictable, because a chaotic mind is easily controlled and easily sold to. If your attention is constantly fractured by impulse, you cannot focus on the complex, long-term strategies required for true success and autonomy. Indiscipline is a gift to your competitors and a tool for your oppressors. You must become disciplined not just for wealth, but for sovereignty over your own time and mind. Ultimately, command over your mind is the key to your power. Lack of self-command is not merely messy. It is exhausting for your brain, a source of stress, and a destroyer of productivity. The bottom line is that by proactively building a disciplined structure, you are not just organizing your day. You are forging a powerful support system for your strategic mind. Discipline is self-mastery. It cuts down stress because you spend less time negotiating, enhances your focus, and amplifies your power. The powerful reality of strategic habits shows why this cold, hard self-command is the best way to upgrade your existence. If you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, stop looking outward. Your internal chaos has everything to do with what's bothering you. Don't try to change everything tonight. Take one small step. Implement one mandate. Pay attention to how different you feel. You will realize that the power of a disciplined mind is the journey to a clearer, more ruthless existence. Subscribe and choose your command.